For the past 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, Nigeria has been having challenges that are beckoning and waiting for answers and solutions. That is why we are bringing to you our program, State of the Nation. And this is going to come up on our flagship program this morning on ITV. I am hereby inviting you to join me, Bola Bakare, your host, on State of the Nation, so that we can hasten the motions that brings national development. It's going to be a regular basis on Tuesdays. Make it a date with me. I'll be there waiting for you, and then we shall discuss Nigeria on an holistic level. This morning we shall dwell on a factor that borders on our men that are supposed to take care of our security. It is not in totality, but like the balance goes, even in Jesus Christ's 12 disciples, he had a Judas. So basically in life, there is no perfect situation anywhere. There is bound and there are bound to be bad people within a multitude of good people. This morning we shall be looking at Abba Kyari and the moment of truth. Let me give you a brief about the man Abba Kyari. Months back, maybe a year back, he was the crown prince of the police force because he was the officer in charge of the Inspector General's IRT. IRT means Intelligence Response Team. This was a team that had a lot of accolades from within Nigeria and outside. A team that was set to make sure that security is being maintained in Nigeria. A team that has been dealing a very hard and decisive blow on armed robbers. A team that has been taking care of anybody that is a kidnapper. They take them down and bring them to book and to justice. A team that lost 3-4 of their men in Taraba during an operation. How on earth? Where did it all go wrong with a man who had such a high, huge accolade from us all? Well, like the saying goes, nobody, I repeat, nobody is a perfect human being. But at the same time, we can afford to listen to our conscience and play down on what the devil wants us to do. Lately, this man that we all eulogized months back went down from grace to grass. This was a man who has gone ahead to give the Nigerian police force a bad name. Let me go back a few months. A few months back, he was at a party, a friend's party, so to speak. He has the right to be anywhere too. He has the right to socialize. He's a Nigerian, he's a human being. He was at a party where our currency was being made a mess of. People were doling money, they were dumping the money, our naira, like it was going out of fashion. And you were there as a policeman. But the thing is, there are some school of thought that said, oh, leave the man alone. Probably he was doing some underground investigation. Honestly, to me too, it was a 50-50 affair. Maybe he was doing an underground investigation about things that were going on and then making sure that our security is better maintained. But from what happened lately, it's beginning to look like the man has lost all the credence we gave to him. The whiff of money has dulled his senses. And as such, he has been caught not just in a situation where people were making a mess of our currency, but he was caught red-handed by another sister agency while he was negotiating in a drug deal. How far can a man descend? He descended from hush puppy, who says he gave him money to arrest another accomplice of his, which he refuted. He descended from that by going into hard drugs, negotiating hard drugs for couriers and kingpins of drugs. For anybody that knows anything about drugs or maybe have read about it, 25 kilograms of cocaine goes into the billions. And this was our policeman who was negotiating on behalf of the kingpin and the couriers. Let us take a snippet about what happened to him in the vehicle with NDLA officials who had him set up. Let's take a look at that clip.
The one wanda an hada biyu a hade ina ga ɗayan an hada uku ne a ce but when logically it's up to 25 duka is 25 but one is not masu dot nan ba sune 5 to sune za a yi testing kashi biyu nan sune masu dot nan sune za a yi testing nan a gan su okay a gan su dot ne ga shi wannan kuma dot na shiga shi okay sune za a yi su kuma su biyu ne don kada su ɗayan biyu ne a haɗe ɗayan kuma ɗaya ne babba there are 3 bags so but ɗaya biyu a ɗaya ɗaya kuma ɗaya amma total za su 5 kg amma sauran da su sauran ma akwai wanda biyu a haɗe ne haka yadda dai suka zo da shi da mu ba mu taba ba exactly yadda aka yi recovery haka wannan shi ne guda wannan taxi. Okay, please. 10. No.
'Shi ba da mu in the office. No wala. From that clip, you will have been able to see how low that our lofty policeman has descended. He descended from being a very reputable officer to an officer that was being set up. Some school of thought laid it across to us that are we really sure the man was doing a lot of good works those days, or are we just giving him credit for what he never did? This can be based on one simple fact. With all the training and retraining he has gotten in espionage and what have you, both indoors and outdoors of Nigeria, how on earth will he fall for a setup like that in a vehicle and all his actions were recorded? If the case of Hush Puppy is unknown, this one is a clear case of a man gone bad, a policeman gone bad. I am not trying to indict the police here. I am indicting him as a person. This is a man gone bad. The only good bad name they gave to the police was when men were arrested in connection with that clip you just saw, they all had real high designations in the Nigerian police force. Abba Kyari, is a DSP. The next man to him that was apprehended was an ACP. The next man was an ASP and 2 other inspectors. What we need to look at is, these are the men, the officer corps, that gives the command and control to the other ranks. If they are this bad, what do we expect of the other ranks when these corrupt men are the ones that are going to give the orders to the other ranks? It seems once again that the man has lost it, and the whiff of money, you can see the dollars there, the whiff of money has made him to lose his senses. Another thing we have to look at is the couriers that were arrested for the hard drugs and his involvement with them. It just shows that he is all over the place doing his own thing and not the dictates of the Nigerian police force. With us here, we are in a position to exonerate the Nigerian police force because there are bad people within good people. But at the same time, we are waiting for all the 2 institutions of government to descend on these men and throw the books at them, both from the Nigerian police force and from the Nigerian Drug Law Enforcement Agency. These are ways by which we can curtail, we can mitigate all that happens in Nigeria. It is not only a case where we blame all the terrorists, the kidnappers, the bandits, the Yahoo boys, the ritualists. This case is as bad as that too. And we pray that he and his cohorts will get the best of justice and whatever is coming to them. Nigeria deserves better. We spent our money training these men and women to become fantastic security operatives. And if they can descend this low, I wonder what will happen when investigation continues both from the Nigerian police force end and from the end of the Nigerian Drug Law Enforcement Agency. It doesn't just end there. Let us hear it from the horse's mouth. Let's just take a short clip about the press conference that was granted by Femi Babafemi, the spokesperson for NDLEA. Let's hear it from NDLEA what transpired. Let's have that clip, please.
Intelligence at our disposal. The agency believes strongly that DCP Kyari is a member of a drug cartel that operates the Brazil-Ethiopia-Nigeria illicit drug pipeline. And he needs to answer questions that crop up in an ongoing drug case in which he is the principal actor. His failure to cooperate forced the hand of the agency, and that is the reason for this press briefing. Now let me give you a synopsis of what transpired. The saga started on Friday, January 21, 2020, when DCP Kyari initiated a call to one of the NDLE officers in Abuja at 2:12 p.m. When the officer returned the call 2 minutes later, Kyari informed him he was coming to see him to discuss an operational matter after the Jumat service. He appeared at the agreed venue of the meeting with the officer and went straight to the crux of the matter. And this was it. His team had intercepted and arrested some traffickers that came into the country from Ethiopia with, according to him, 25 kilograms of cocaine. He proposed a drug deal where he and his team are to take 15 kilograms of the cocaine and leave the 10 kilograms for the prosecution of the suspects arrested with the illicit drug in Enugu. In the meantime, the purloined cocaine, that is the depleted cocaine, will be replaced with a dummy worth 15 kilograms. He asked the NDLE officer to persuade men of the FCT command to play along as well. Now, anybody who is in touch with the reality of the renewed drug war by the NDLA since January 18, 2021 will know that That was a tall order because our officers and men have rededicated themselves to the war against illicit drugs, and what Kyari was asking for was not tenable, not in this new dispensation, not with the new NDLA. We can recall that one of our officers was in the same situation in May 2021 when a drug kingpin, Ejiofor Felix Ngwereku, flew from Brazil to Nigeria to negotiate the release of a 7.95 kilogram shipment of cocaine intercepted at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Ikeja, Lagos. The drug lord offered a bribe of $24,500, but our officer placed duty above pecuniary interest. We all know how the episode ended. That is the ethos of the new NDLA. And our officer proved it again, this time by reporting to the authorities. By 11:05 a.m. on Monday, January 24, after the agency gave the officer the green light to play along, he and Kyari began a WhatsApp call for the rest of the day. The officer conveyed their willingness, in quotes, to play the game. At this point, Kyari disclosed that the 15 kilograms already taken out was shared between the informants that provided the information for the seizure and himself, as well as his men of the IRT of the Nigerian police. According to him, the informants were given 10 kilograms, while his team took 8 kilograms, which was already sold. He then offered to pay the NDLA team, that is the officer and the FCT commander, by selling on their behalf half of the remaining 10 kilograms, thereby further reducing the original cocaine from the prosecution to just 5 kilograms. At 7 million per kilogram, the proceeds from the 5 kg will amount to 35 million naira, at the exchange rate of 570 naira per dollar, being the black market rate for the day, January 24, 2022. In effect, he will be delivering $61,400 to the NDLA team. He then put pressure on our officer to wrap up the arrangement with the commander of the FCT command to take custody of this drug and suspects from his men who were on ground in Abuja. At the time, he was speaking from Lagos, where he allegedly traveled for private business. The next day, January 25, Kyari offered to send his younger brother to deliver the payments while his men delivered the suspects, but our officer turned down the suggestion, insisting he would rather deal with him in person and was therefore prepared to wait for him to return from Lagos. And by 5:23 p.m., Kyari was in Abuja and met with the officer at the same rendezvous where they had the first meeting. In their discussion, he disclosed how his team received information from a double-crosser who betrayed the traffickers to him, showing a solid connection between law enforcement agents and the drug underworld. He narrated how, acting on the tip-off, his team departed Abuja to Enugu and arrested the traffickers, removed part of the consignment on his instruction, and replaced same with dummies. He also indicated how to identify the remnants of the original cocaine that will be delivered to NTLA. 5 original packages marked with red dots. The reason for this was to avoid the dummies being subjected to test.
From that clip you've watched, you've now seen the diligent work that the NDLEA is doing to make sure that we curb the inflow of drugs into Nigeria to start with, and to make sure that they arrest the people that are involved in this. Unfortunately, we're talking in terms of the hierarchy of our police force. Like I said earlier, we are praying for a situation where justice will take its course, both from the Constitution and the mandate of the NDLEA. Let justice take its course. From the Nigerian police force, let justice and discipline take its course. We cannot help we just can't stop giving kudos to these two institutions of government, the Nigerian police force and the NDLEA, for doing a good job of ridding our society of the bad eggs. Because I normally say one thing: the devil is still alive, and as such, there will be bad eggs. It is the duty of society and institutions of government to make sure that we mitigate the bad eggs, and when we lay our hands on them, justice will take its course.